Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for another My Hero Academia Season 6 episode review. This is going to be Season 6 Episode 5 titled The Thrill of Destruction. So, let's get into it. Now, the beginning of the episode is just really a recap of last episode. Well, like the last part of last episode when all the heroes got to the laboratory part to help Miracle out, and then Shigaraki flopped out of the canister, and President Mike grabbed the Dr. Garaki to go tell the high-end Nomus to stop while everybody else is fighting Nomu. Now, when we pick up from, well, really all we get from right before the opening really is just everything we saw before, and then we see Gazer Beam. That's not his name, but I keep forgetting his name, so I'll call him Gazer Beam. But we see Gazer Beam look up, and he sees another machine off to the side. He goes, "What is that?" Well, I'm gonna just destroy it anyway because it's it's in the bad guy's laboratory. Destroying it would probably be a good idea. So he charges up his laser in his eye, destroys it, and then we pick up right where we left off with a piece of electricity, well, a piece of the pipe hitting the liquid that was around Shigaraki and Gazer Beam. It sparked it. Shigaraki woke up, and Gazer Beam was like, "No way!" like how the heck did he just wake up? I thought the doctor just said he's like passed out. Well, I mean, in a suspended animation, like he just flung up like that. Like what in the world? That doesn't make any sense. And then we get the opening. After the opening, we cut back to all the heroes fighting off all the high-end Nomus. And we do get like this one scene with the police station like talking about the high-end Nomus, about how powerful they are, and how it took Endeavor and Hawks, the top two heroes, like forever to beat Hood. And they're in a laboratory with like multiple high-end Nomus, so this might be kind of bad. Like this might be a really bad situation, but they're fine because these high-end Nomus are still fresh, so this will be easier to deal with. But they're still high-end, so all the heroes are still, they still gotta go all out against these high-end Nomu. Anyway, it cuts to a Eraserhead trying to figure out what he should do because he's looking at 3 high-end Nomus right now, but that one high-end Nomu ran after Endeavor and Miracle. And Miracle's not doing so good. The camera pans over to Endeavor holding off the high-end Nomu trying to hit him. Miracle does get up, but she's wobbling all over the place. She lost a lot of blood from in her limbs. Endeavor's like, "No, sit back down. Sit down. I got this." And then reinforcements come in. Ryuko come in. Rocklock come in. Gran Torino comes in. Not the washing machine here. The firefighter here that we saw in season 1 came in to go help out, and they're able to deal with all the high-end Nomus a lot quicker because all of them came in. Specifically the one that was fighting Endeavor. Gran Torino does come in, hits that Nomu, then Endeavor comes over and does Fire Fist, Jet Burn right in his face, and we cut over to Gazer Beam and Shigaraki. Now Gazer Beam does try to kill Shigaraki, but Shigaraki goes, "Man, it's cold." And he gets up, grabs his face to case him, and just it's so crazy because he just kills him because he goes, "Oh man, it's so cold." He kills him, grabs his cape, and puts it on himself. He goes, "Man, it is freezing in here." He's just killing it so nonchalantly. I mean, we've seen him do it plenty of times, so it's okay, but it's just so wild. He's like, "Man, it's cold." Kill. Alright. That was freezing. Anyway, after that, it cuts back to Gunga Mountain, and it cuts back to Fat Gum running with running the fat taxi with all the students in his chest. And it cuts back to the moment to where him and Tokoyami looked up at the building, and we saw that big burst of fire from Dabi. And Tokoyami saw Hawks was in the fire, so he started freaking out. He was able to lunge out of Fat Gum's fat and go towards where Hawks is. Fat Gum was really surprised because nobody's ever been able to get out of his fat, well, at least without a struggle. Tokoyami was able to just get out there, no problem. So he releases Kaminari, the Mushroom Girl, and Mudman. He goes, "Okay, you guys go ahead back to the other students in the forest. I'm going to go back to the battlefield." So he starts to run after Tokoyami. Then we cut over to, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, right before, then we cut back to Dabi and Hawks. And Dabi was trying to kill Hawks the last time we saw that battle, but then Tokoyami was able to come in, kick Dabi away. Dabi doesn't go too far. I mean, like 2 or 3 feet back because he blocked it. And he looks at Hawks, and Dark Shadow looks at Hawks. And they look at his back because Dabi was just standing on his back doing that huge burst of flames. And Dark Shadow's like, "Tokoyami, like, this isn't good. His wings are gone. And his back, it's jacked up. like this is pretty bad." And then Tokoyami starts to remember that flashback we got last episode while Hawks was like, "My only weakness, probably fire. My wings are pretty strong, but they're pretty flammable too. And then we cut back to real time, and Dobby's like, huh? Oh, you want to go UA brats? They're really bringing students out here to rally their forces? Well, hey, look at this. And he shows him twice his body. He goes, your hero over there, Hawks, he killed that man twice with his back turned. He was just trying to go save his friend. Is that the kind of hero you want to look up to? You better realize now what kind of heroes you guys are looking up to before you waste your whole life worshiping them. And Tokoyami sees the dead body, and he looks at Hawks, and obviously he's like really conflicted, but he's staying on Hawks' side. But he's like, you know, he's seeing a dead man. He's seeing a dead man right in front of him. So obviously he's telling the truth, and he could see that, you know, he doesn't have any burn marks. It's a cut from Hawks' wing blade. So he's like, you know, kind of panicking, but at the same time, you know, at the same time he's thinking to himself, you know, this is Hawks. If he killed this man, it was probably for a good reason. So he probably killed him. It's justified. And Hawks, he's still somewhat conscious. And Hawks is like, man, he just keeps on blabbing that mouth, don't he? And Tokoyami, he dodges one of Dobby's attacks. And Tokoyami, oh, man, this isn't good. It's like, this is a really enclosed space right now. So I can't move around too well. And every time he does a fire attack, it makes Dark Shadow get weaker and weaker. So I need to hurry up and get out of here. And it was a really cool scene I got to show you guys, to where while they were fighting, I mean, not fighting, but while they were talking, Mount Lady is busting in the background. And they don't even react to it. It was kind of funny because, Dobby's talking to Tokoyami about how Hawks is a murderer and stuff. And Mount Lady gets bust through the wall off to the side. And they don't even react to it like it was nothing. I mean, I would have like flinched or something. It's like gigantic lady gets bust in. Looking to the side, I would have looked up or something. But look, while Dobby was trying to tell him how Hawks is a bad person and stuff, Mount Lady is bust through out of nowhere. See? Just busting. Oh, it's kind of bright, so you can't see it too well. But it didn't even flinch or anything. It didn't even flinch or nothing. Jeez. I mean, on the battlefield, you can't be doing like too much flinching and stuff. Anyway, let me put the towel back on the TV. Anyway, Hawks was able to realize that Dobby just keeps on talking. At first he realizes that the blast he just threw at Tokoyami was weaker than before. And then he also realizes that Dobby just keeps on blabbering that mouth. He says his fire quirk is really powerful, but it seems like to be a limit. He can't just keep on rapidly shooting out these high octane flame attacks because they're getting weaker, and he keeps stalling for time by talking. So okay, I see. He goes Tokoyami. Now, so Tokoyami jumps off the railing, uses Dark Shadow to grab the railing, and they swing to a lower, lower platform. We're gonna say it's a lower floor, a lower platform. You know, it's the same thing. Anyway, they swing down to a lower floor and they hit the ground. Hawks was so hurt that little like bump when they hit the ground just knocks him all the way out. But Dobby, he jumps down and he goes, I knew you guys were going to jump, so that's why I made my last 2 attacks weaker. You're done for. And he does this, so really cool. Like, he's charging up a really huge fire attack and he's doing this. But out of nowhere, a bunch of ice just comes out of nowhere and knocks Mount Lady back. And Fat Gum is right under her. He goes, uh-oh. Run! And then the camera pans upward and it's Gatan. He does this huge ice attack. We get to see his face too. I'm gonna show you his face. He does this huge ice attack. He goes, everybody, rally back up. They're trying to separate us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. We have to charge through and beat all the heroes. And then that ice attack also knocks Dobby back. So that gives enough time for Tokoyami to make his dark wing shadows and to fly out of there. And also he starts crying and he starts saying what I was just saying before about how he was like, Hawks, I know you're a good person. If you actually did kill that man, it was probably for a really good reason. I'm still believing you. Please pull through. And that's the last we see of Hawks and Tokoyami for this episode. Now I'm going to show you the funny scene with Fat Gum, where Mount Lady was going to fall on Fat Gum and he had to run. And we also get to see Gaten's face, which was pretty cool. I kept seeing this stupid like frame and this scene because I don't remember this happening in the manga. I mean, the scene where Gaten comes out of nowhere did happen, but like the anime specifically showing this and Fat Gum running out of the way. I don't remember that in the manga. I think they just added that to be funny and for other reasons, but it was pretty funny. But I kept seeing people like, man, Fat Gum is dumb. Why did he run? I'm like, you guys are fiends, man. It's a gigantic lady that's gonna kill you. Anyway, we finally get to see Gaten's face, and this is what he looks like right here. It was a real big debate if he was a man or a woman, especially after this, because it still looks somewhat womanly. Oh, yeah, no, man. I was gonna say the camera zooms in, but that was a good look at his face. He does look a little womanly here, but you know, it's still a man's voice coming through, so it's a man. Even in the anime, in the sub or the dub, when you couldn't see his face, it was just the white eyes. It was a man's voice in both, so you know that didn't leave too much to the imagination. But in the manga, obviously, there's no voices, so when we first got introduced to Gaten, we're like, is this a guy or a girl? We couldn't tell because all you could see is his hands. Really, everything else was covered in shadows. The only thing you get to see was his hands, so that kind of sucked. Actually, I'm gonna keep the towel off. I gotta show the next scene in a minute. Oh, and I also forgot to show you Dabi didn't get to do the attack, but when he was falling down from the sky to do his attack, it was a kind of a cool scene too, because he was charging up his hands and you saw his hands going blue, which was pretty cool. Here you go, right here. Dabi was finna do that huge flame attack. You saw his hands charging up blue. But then it cuts to the next scene to where Gaten comes out of nowhere and does his ice attack. Anyway, the next scene it cuts to underground in the mansion, and Redestro is spazzing at everybody. He goes, "Yo, what's going on in the battle right now? And where are my spare legs? I need them to fight. Come on, hurry up!" But then one guy off to the side, he's like, Redestro. He goes, "What?" He stood up, and Gangshamaki just stood up because Shigaraki got out of the container last episode, and Gangshamaki is able to smell him from all that far away. But he smells him, he goes, "Huh? My master. He's awakened." And then we get the eye catchers for this episode. It's Tsukuyomi. It's also the hero name. Tsukuyomi and Uravity. Really cool. I love these new title cards, man. I love them. Here we go. It's Tsukuyomi and Uravity. These new I can't wait to see Kirishima's or Bakugo's. I can't wait to see either of those right there. We get Tsukuyomi, and then we get Uravity. These new title cards are so dope. Look at that. These are so dope, man. I love these new title cards. The old ones were okay. I mean, it just saw like a little ping of that face, and it was like, you know, Spinner or whoever, and then that was it. But these new ones are nice. All right, let me put the towel back on the TV. Actually, I know what I got. I gotta saw the screen a lot more, so I'm gonna just keep it off. I just realized what the ending of this episode. So anyway, it cuts back to Deko's group inside the city where Juku Hospital is, and they're evacuating everybody. We get a few funny scenes to where this one old lady thanks Bakugo for helping them evacuate the city. So she goes to give Bakugo this little dessert cake thing, and Bakugo's still yelling at the lady. He goes, "Man, shut up and get on the bus. I can't eat that. I'm working right now." They're like, "Bakugo, she's trying to give you something nice. Can you calm down for 1 second?" And then we cut over to Koda. He's talking to all the animals that got out of the city. We cut over to everybody just evacuating. And then we cut over to Deku. He's walking around, and then he hears a voice in his head. He goes, "What is that? Who is that?" And he starts to hold his stomach. Everybody's like, "Hey, Deku, are you good?" And he realizes that the voice in his head is the first user of One for All for One's brother. And he's telling Deku, like, you know, this is bad. You need to get out of there. He's awakened. You're in great danger. And Deku looks up at the hospital. They're like, "Deku, what's going on, man? Are you okay?" And then we cut over to the hospital. And it was a really cool scene because while Deku's like holding his stomach, looking up at the hospital, we see the street light. Not the street. It's the... What do you call that? You know when it says like you can walk or when you have to stop walking because of the cars coming? That's not called a street light. Well, the walk light. I'm going to say the walk light. We see the walk light, and the walk light is green for you to walk. And it keeps flickering. Then it goes to stop. You can't go. And as soon as it does that, we cut over to the hospital. And Shigaraki has awakened, like I said, and he does his decay wave. But it's a lot more stronger now because of all the upgrades Dr. Garaki did. Because it was so cool because the anime is silent. You can see everybody walking. You're going to get out of there. And then Shigaraki, you see like a ton of lines appear on the walls. That everything just starts to decay. And so Gran Torino runs over, grabs President Mike and Dr. Garaki, he starts to fly out of there, and then he remembers everything. He remembers. Sorry, not my bad. He like looks at the wall and it's disintegrating. He goes, "This Shigaraki, he's decaying, so that's not even that he's not even touching. He was probably in that tube getting upgraded too. Everybody run!" So everybody just starts running as this huge decay wave is coming at them. And then, then right after that, we cut over to Ryuko. She's flying, and she goes, race ahead, grab on. So he grabs his scarf, wraps it around her foot, and starts to fly with her. But one of the Nomu grabs his leg, and it's so much weight, the scarf starts to break. But out of nowhere, something cuts off the Nomu's arm. And Eraserhead looks to the side, and it's crushed. He used his shield blade to cut the arm off. But because he did that, he had to stay behind, and he starts to get disintegrated. Eraserhead's like, crushed! And he's just giving a thumbs up while he's disintegrating with a big smile. And then he just disintegrates. I'm like, no! I mean, that actually got me kind of sad. Cause, I mean, we didn't get to know Crush for that long in the story, in the manga or the anime. But still, like, he was a pretty cool character. And him doing that was dope, man. Look at this. I'm gonna probably make him the thumbnail. Cause this is the last we're gonna see of him. See, he cuts off the Nomu's arm that was grabbing Eraserhead. And he was like, crushed! He just gives a big old thumbs up. that was sad, man. Jeez, man, that was sad. Anyway, after that, we cut to outside, and that decay wave is just constantly going and going and going. Like, everybody has to book it. We see Pixie Bob try to stop it, but it doesn't work. And I'm glad that the anime added a scene in to where the leader grabs her and keeps going, because in the manga, let me focus it. In the manga, we just see Pixie Bob jump up and try to stop it, and then it gets cut to the next scene, and we didn't get to find out exactly what happened to her until like 10 plus chapters later. So that was pretty bad. Look at this. The whole city is just disintegrating. The whole city. Like, this is bad. And while the whole city's disintegrating, Dr. Garaki's like, man, you heroes did all that planning and effort to stop us with our grand masterpiece. But look at this. A miracle has happened. Shigaraki is going, what should I say, plus ultra, as you guys were saying. I'm like, okay, that was kind of cold, like using it on them. That was kind of cold. Anyway, it cuts over to Deku's group, and Deku sees the decay wave coming, and he remembers what Shigaraki told him in season 2 when he found him in the mall. He was like, all I gotta do is put all 5 fingers on your neck, and then poof, you disintegrate. You turn into nothing but dust. And he sees that, he goes, oh, this is Shigaraki. So he tries to do a St. Louis Detroit smash, 45%. It doesn't work. And then Todoroki does his icing, piercing wall of the heavens move, but that doesn't work either. So everybody just starts to book it. After that attack didn't work, everybody just starts running. Everybody grabs the civilians and started moving. It's kind of funny because this scene in the manga, it was just like this one little panel of Deku using his black whip on a bus and pulling the bus with him and running. I don't know why that was so funny to me, but Umuraka, she uses her, her quirk to make the bus lighter. But in the manga, I don't think we saw that. So all we saw was Deku pulling this bus. I was like, yo, Deku's pulling a bus? I was like, yo, this is crazy. Oh my goodness. That had me laughing so hard. And we cut over to the police station again, and all the camera feeds they had around all the city, they're cutting off. Everything's getting decayed. Everything is getting decayed. And they're like, what the heck is going on? Like, what is happening? Nobody's responding. What is going on? And then we cut over to Shigaraki. He's done doing the decay wave. He's like, man, that was cool. He's like, that was pretty cool. He walks over to this canister. He opens it. He goes, oh, man, this is bad. Most of these look so banged up, and they can't even be used. And he grabs one, and it's those Quirker Racing Bullocks that, that Overhaul made. He mentioned about how he had Dr. Garaki make some more because Mr. Compress couldn't make any. And not Mr. Compress, I mean twice he couldn't make any with his quirk, but Dr. Garaki was able to make some. But with all the battling going on in the laboratory and what Garaki just did, a lot of them just got so banged up he can't even use them. Then out of nowhere he starts to feel a sharp pain in his head, and he starts to hear Awful One's voice. He goes, what's going on? Why am I hearing this voice? What's this pain? It's whatever. It's a small price to pay for this new power. He walks over to a phone. He taps it. He goes, hey, Makia, we're going to destroy everything. Come to me and bring the others. And Makia, Gaiansha Makia, he hears that. He starts to roar. And then we cut to the credits. And that's the end of the episode. Woo! Pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff. especially the decay wave. In the manga, it was just so crazy. Like, when that happened, I remember everybody was spazzing. Like, what? Like, Shigaraki was barely trying. Like, before, when he did it before, it took everything he got. This, he was just barely trying, and all the heroes like, run! We gotta book it, man! We gotta go! Like, they were just running as fast as they can. And then it was like I said, I was like so nervous because of, in the manga, Pixie Ball, when she jumped up to try to stop it, she just looked, and then like the manga panel cut to the next manga panel to whatever's happening. And I was like, yo, what happened to Pixie Ball? I started panicking a little bit. I was like, yo, what happened to her? And then we just, you know, you keep sliding, I mean, you keep flipping up your phone. You see that one tiny panel off to the side where Deku's like holding a whole bus and he's running with it. I'm like, what? He's running with a whole bus now? I mean, that's what they gotta do. They don't have time to start up the keys with them. They gotta go. They got to go. But I'm sorry. But that's what happened. So, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all there for being wonderful human beings. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right.